Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Larry, Curly, Laurel, Hardy, Cheech, Chong. Wait a minute, that one's wrong. Hi, I'm Greg. Welcome to Technical Difficulties. Please stand by. Okay. Rebuilding the fuel pump. As usual, production quality at or as close as possible to zero. This is the fuel pump. It's a Carter fuel pump. It's got some numbers in the corrosion over here that helped me get the right kit, allegedly. So, here's the parts, and here's the pump. Before you take it off the engine, not too late for that. Chain, really? Sketch it. How does it phase? Catch the fuel that may leak. Change the engine oil. A smart safety step in fuel pump repairs and oil change. How about that? Remove the fuel pump from the engine. Disassemble the pump. Okay. Probably should have read this all beforehand. I just didn't realize it was so complicated. Goodness sakes. Well, see how far we can get. Disassemble the pump. Notice those casting orientations. Clamp one of the mounting ears in a bench vise padding the jaws so they do not scar the ear. It has ears. I'm not so sure about that. Take off the bowl and the bail and remove filter/screen. Take the screws out of the. Goodness sakes, this must be the bowl. You have a diagram that tells me the part names? I'm going to call this the bowl and this the bail. That doesn't seem to want to come off. I'll be back. Okay. That didn't work. Screws are still stuck. Alright. I'm going to shoot a little liquid wrench at it. It shouldn't be this hard. Come on, really? Again. Okay, this is not going so well. Tried an impact gun to get those screws out. They're not moving. So when I got the engine, it came with a collection of fuel pumps. So I'm going to just take a look at one of the other ones. Oh, that looks marvelous. Yikes. There's like sand inside. Otherwise it does look kind of the same. Let's see if I can get those screws loose. Alright, clearly there's some sort of a trick. You see what just happened there? My wife came from off camera because she was not pleased that I was just using a Ziploc baggie to protect our kitchen table. As guys, sometimes we make poor judgments. And when that happens, our wives are usually there to give us the look. If you're married, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But guys, I've discovered the secret. If you don't make eye contact, they can't hurt you with the look. I'll even often accompany it with a, "I'm not looking, you can't hurt me." And now you know. And knowing's half the battle. Gee, I know. Take the bowl and the bale. Who comes up with these names? The bale? Alright, I won. It was kind of a hollow victory. So, when you get it separated, you're supposed to take these two screws out, right here. And they're supposed to be very easy to take out. This was a different fuel pump. As I mentioned, the previous owner had of the engine had included several fuel pumps. I was able to get kind of this one out. Wasn't able to get this other one out because it was so rusty. But on the one I was trying to rebuild, I could not get either one out. And I went after it with plenty of the liquid wrench. I went after it with an impact driver, which slipped off and made some nice little marks on here. Before I finally decided I was going to go with fire. So I went down and heated it up with my plumbing torch and was able to get this one screw out. Of course, the screw head looks like hamburger now, but it's out. The other one I still could not get out even with heat, so I had to try another tactic and I drilled it out. So basically found a drill bit that was about the same size as the hole here, drilled down till the head sheared off, and then was able to just lift this part off, leaving the body of it kind of stuck down in there, like so. And then was able to get pliers on here, get more leverage, and take that out. So it is now apart. I'm down 2 screws. So again, victory kind of, but kind of a defeat. But we're gonna move along. And now for my next trick. This little smashed booger thing is supposed to come out. And it's supposed to look like a smashed booger, I guess. And you somehow kind of try and grab it on there and kind of wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Hey, something actually worked. Okay, that came out. Wow, that was way too easy. Alright, maybe you're one of those guys or gals that wonders, what does he mean, a plumbing torch? So I had this. Screw this little thingy on here, and it's for sweating pipes. It's propane. And you do a little click, click, starts up. And that was how I did that. Still gotta figure out how to get this pin out. This is the part where you do a time lapse eventually, because no one's going to want to watch me sit for 10 minutes trying to pry this little pin out. I'm now on day 3 of my 15-minute fuel pump rebuild. Why day 3, you ask? Well, I've had some technical difficulties. Thankfully, I caught this one before it went too far. So, I've been working on rebuilding this fuel pump. And something got me reading my service manual. So I have the actual service manual for my truck, and I ordered the rebuild kit for this fuel pump. Now, my truck came with a collection of fuel pumps, so I now am a fuel pump collector, evidently. It came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fuel pumps. They all looked the same to me, and turns out they're not, which I actually did figure out. But I figured this was probably the one that was the original, because the paint matched the paint on the engine that I got. The engine I picked up from another guy, not the guy I bought the truck from, because the guy I bought the truck from put a Mopar 318 in there. I'm trying to put it back to original, so I found a guy on eBay selling the motor that I wanted, bought that, had it shipped here, came with lots of extra parts, kind of indicating that he was trying to get it started and having difficulty, because otherwise you really don't have 5 fuel pumps. I think there was like 4 or 5 ignition coils, 3 distributors, a bunch of things that told me he was trying to get it started and couldn't. But since this one matched the paint on the engine, I thought, surely that's the original. It's not. 3564S is the part number stamped into this little piece of machinery. And as I was looking through the service manual, trying to just get a little more detail, because there's some photographs in there and stuff instead of just written directions like the rebuild kit came with, it told me that no, you're not supposed to have a 3564S, you're supposed to have a 3561S. So thankfully, in the collection of fuel pumps I received, I did receive at least 2, possibly 3 3561S's. I know for sure 2 of them are. The third one I can't really quite read the stamping. So this was practice, and now I'm going to rebuild an actual one. Again, they look very similar. Trying to get that all in the frame. They look pretty similar, other than color. Bolt pattern looks to be the same. Everything looks to be the same externally. It turns out, thankfully, I called the fuel pump people, and the same rebuild kit works for both. So now that I've practiced on this one, and I know that when the bolts don't want to come out, just use heat. Forget the penetrating oil, it's not going to fix it. This should go much easier. Should is the key word in that sentence. So I've had a similar situation trying to figure out the carburetor. And the carburetor that came on the engine, I was unsure if that was correct or not. Ended up talking to a guy today from thecarburetorshop.com. John was the guy's name, he's the owner. And it's a Holley carb. And I called Holley, and they do not make rebuild kits for anything this old. And they referred me to John at the carburetor shop. Had a great conversation with the guy. The guy knows his stuff. I mean, you can read stuff in books, but then there's people with experience like John, and they know all these little tricks. And so he told me all these great tricks for when it comes to rebuilding the carb, and when we get there, I will share those little secrets with you. Well, that doesn't seem good. It kind of looks like a piece. Oh, it is. It's a piece of lock washer that broke off. Great. I will have to just steal one from the practice fuel pump, I think is what I'll be doing, because they look to be the same. Man, it was all going, well, it was all going, not well, but eventually it was going on the other one. Kind of a bummer to find out you're doing the wrong one. But I am a recovering perfectionist, and so I'm kind of excited to get the opportunity to, now that I've learned from my mistakes, do it better this time. Okay. This should separate. Ta-da! Ooh, hey, looks in good shape in there. Not all rusty like the other ones. There we go. And yes, you can see that. Oh, see, now look at that. That just comes right out like butter. I was getting ready to use a torch on it and everything. Friendly persuasion. Ah, there we go. Oh, hey, look at that. All around, this thing's in way better shape. You got the little domed screen filter thing here. You got this thing, which is hard as a rock and cracked when I tried to move it. So certainly that is toast. Wow. Man, I can't believe how much easier this is. So, alright, now, see, if I just didn't show you the other part, I'd look like I know what I'm doing. Those came apart? Oh, yeah, right, now I gotta do this other thing over here. So now I gotta try and get this little booger out. And then you take this spring out, and then you're supposed to be able to slide this pin out, which yesterday I had to drill a hole over here and pound an awl through to pop the pin out. We'll see if that goes easier today. Alright, hey, look, I can show you now. See the pin down in there? That's what I'm trying to remove out that hole. And we'll see if I can get this to work. Yeah, that's just not gonna work. I'm just gonna drill out the other side here. Okay, now the awl should be able to get in there deeper. Oh, that just moved really easily that time. And I think it's out far enough now. Yep, and I can grab it with the pliers. So it's sticking out here. And this pin gets replaced. So that is not out of there. I should be able to pull this out. Yep. That pulled right out. And this part should come out. Wow, it's kind of a purple spring. There's kind of goopy crap in there. Okay, well. Awesome. Alright, so here we have the 3 pieces that the fuel pump came into. And next, the instructions talk about putting that on some emery cloth, which is, well, really just kind of sandpaper. Only it's a cloth backing instead of a paper backing, so it stands up more, and it's more used for metal finishing. And, oh, what grit medium? What does that mean? No idea. You'd think they'd be a little more specific than that, but no, they're not. So, what I'm supposed to be doing is just giving a couple little swipes here, and seeing kind of where the high spots might be, to see if it's nice and flat all the way across, and it's not. There's a lot of black here, and I'm wondering if that's black paint from when it got spray painted before. In any case, the directions say this is like aluminum or zinc or a soft metal, and you want to take it down to where it is all the same level, so the gasket doesn't have to fill in so much. Well, that's certainly a million times better than it was, or at least twice as good as it was. So those surfaces should all be nice and ready to cleanly made up. Let's see here, my vent hole thing that I was talking about, see, comes out right there. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. See right in there. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, so I can see daylight through there, so that looks good. I am going to head back to the table. Okay, so now we get to drive out what they call the umbrellas. They're umbrella valves or whatever. One here, one here. They're opposite directions. And basically, from what I hear, they are press fit in. And I'm going to just pound on it here. And it's going to fall out that way, theoretically. All the way on the other one. And then this one looks a little rusty. We'll probably throw that in the apple rust. Here goes nothing. Okay, it came out. Found the spring and the umbrella. The other part, though, might be MIA. Oh, no, it stayed there. The little rubber part thing. So I think it goes like this. The little hat, the little umbrella, the spring, and then this thing, and then press fit in. That made it out pretty easily. Oh, okay. Try that again. But let's try to catch the umbrella this time. Just, you know, for something new and different. Okay. Got that out. Little umbrella guy. The umbrella and the spring. So it goes umbrella, spring, rubbery guy, rubbery washer guy. And they are out. Never expected that to go so easily. Yeah, definitely going to evapor rust. Yeah, the spring too. Having just read through the instructions that came with the rebuild kit, they basically said, yeah, that's a press fit. You're not going to probably make those be able to work. Carter does not make those anymore, the company that made the carburetor, and they've also said that if anyone else does, that they will sue them because they have the rights to make it, even though they're not. So what the company has come up with that does the rebuild kit, and I guess a lot of the rebuilders do this, is they use brass rivets instead. So the kit actually came with 3 brass rivets with replacement springs, so I don't even have to use those old springs, and these rubber washers that are basically the valves themselves. It's kind of a rubber valve. So I'm not sure why they included 3. Maybe they figured I was going to screw one up, which they maybe should have included a 4th one in that case. We're going to try to put those in and see if we can make this work. Put that down in there. Put this in here. Push it through, but the problem is the rivet is too big to fit through the hole. Well, I mean, I guess I can gently pound this in. It's supposed to protrude like 1/32 of an inch. I just don't see this working well at all. Not sure that the light's going to allow you to see that, but there I'm trying to get it through that top hole. I'm supposed to stake these. Oh, great, you weren't even seeing that. See, look at that. Alright, let's find out how to stake a rivet. Alright, let's try just looking up a riveting stake. And that would be S-T-A-K-E, not a steak that you would eat that you can't take your eyes off of, being a riveting steak. Oh wow, that's what those look like? For forming wire rivets, use as a base for riveting, drilling, staking. Oh, come on. Hey, today's video is brought to you by Bible Expeditions. Bible Expeditions, you say? What does that have to do with rebuilding a truck? Well, nothing, except that I own this truck and my wife and I own Bible Expeditions, and hey, no one else is paying me for these videos, so I'm going to plug our company. Bible Expeditions, we put together custom tours to Israel. You want to go? You have a group? Maybe your Bible study wants to go. Whatever. Hey, we can hook you up. We have through the grace of God, made some tremendous contacts over there over the years, and we've sent groups over that have been truly pleased with our results. Yes, I know there's a big glare here on the map. Remember, zero production quality to these videos. Anyway, if you are interested in going to Israel, my wife and I would love to help make that happen. Let's try that again. If you would like to go to Israel, my wife and I would love to make that happen. So, BibleExpeditions.com is our website. Thanks for watching. Now back to the action. Okay, trying to go for an easy victory today. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Anyway, I've been screwing around with the engine for a couple days trying to get the front mounting plate off. And meanwhile, got my tools that I need to finish up the fuel pump. So what I'm going to be trying to do here is smashing over this little guy and this little guy to hold them in place. So I got a couple punches. These are actually made for roll pins, but I think it should work. And we'll see here. Hope it's working. I think it did kind of smoosh it. There. Alright. Those are not going anywhere now. Okay. Okay. It's making pumping noises. Not sure if you can hear that. Now I just need to put that spring back in there. And this is done. So, last little bit to get this spring back in here. There. One fuel pump, rebuilt and ready for ethanol fuel.